Jeff Gordon is carrying the sprint camera, and Ryan Newman has the quickie starting back in 26th position. Danica Patrick has had to drop to the end of the field. Her team changed a transmission this morning. Ready to race at Texas. Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon on the front row. Bring him to the green. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series from Texas Motor Speedway on this Sunday afternoon in November. Our telecast today presented by Federated Auto Parts, and we're just underway with race 8 in the chase. There's the lead, Matt Kenseth, by about 7 or 8 car lengths over Jeff Gordon. Kevin Harvick running in 12th place. Jimmy Johnson has run Jeff Gordon down for the runner-up spot.
Yeah, Johnson has pretty much been the one driver that has just stayed right on the bottom of the racetrack pretty much this entire run here to start the race. As he moves to the middle when I say that. Most of the laps have been right around the bottom.
So Gordon hanging on to second for now. At a bad time for Clint Boyer. Good time for everybody else to make a pit stop and get a look at those tires, Vince.
Jimmy Johnson says it's a little snug into 3, but otherwise it's generally loose everywhere else. So it's going to be a 4-tire change for Jimmy Johnson. Also going to make a track bar adjustment in Sunoco fuel. Doc?
Jeff Gordon saying the car really started to get loose off of turn 2. Maybe somewhat of a tailwind. They're going to put 4 tires on to go 1 round up on the track bar and tape on the grill. Kevin Harvick saying, I'm tight to the center and loose off. It'll be a 4-tire change for Harvick and air pressure. Jamie.
Matt Kenseth led all the laps so far. A little free off. He needs a little better turn. The first half of the run, it was 4 tires. They made a chassis adjustment, and he will maintain the lead, Alan.
Jeff Gordon going to lose a ton of spots on that pit stop. 6 of them. Watch the right front here on Jeff's stop.
They may have had a lug nut or something hanging up there on the hub. They wanted to make sure they didn't have a problem with.
Restart coming up. To go here as Jeff Gordon lost 6 positions on his pit stop. We showed you the problem, and a little further diagnosis shows it might have been time well spent.
Yeah, take a look at the right front. That's Scott Brzezowski. Now, they had a lug nut that came and was stuck on the top of the studs. Watch how quickly Scott Brzezowski thinks. He takes the tire off, clears the lug nut, puts the tire back on. That could have been a very costly pit stop and only cost him a few extra seconds and 6 spots. Let's listen to the radio, hear what Jeff had to say.
I had a lug nut stick up there on the hubcap. We had to pull off. Sorry about that. Yeah, it happens.
And we're always sometimes pointing the finger when these guys make a mistake, but we should really give a call to Scott Brzezowski because he did a great job clearing the lug nut quickly and it not being more of a factor than it was. Alan?
I can tell you, that was a real heads-up move. We saw a problem with the 4 car. They had something similar to this at Dover where they were changing 4 tires under green. One of those lug nuts got caught up inside the wheel and knocked the stem out. This is the problem it caused for him. He blew the left front. I'll tell you, that was a real heads-up move by Scott, that tire changer, to see that and have the, just the moxie to be able to stop what he was doing and get it off of there.
So Jeff Gordon back to 10th position from 4th and doubled up there in that outside lane for the restart. Jeff Gordon trying to rally back from the pit stop problem earlier, just took 7th away from Kurt Busch. Remember, Gordon lost 6 positions on his pit stop when they had the lug hang on top of the hub and took a minute to peel it away before it caused damage after the tire was reinstalled and he drove away.
If Jeff Gordon wins the championship, they're going to look back on that one moment right there as being one key thing that they were able to save something there that could have caused them a big-time problem. That was a heads-up move by that tire changer to get that lug nut off that hub.
Literally short-term pain for long-term gain there. So, new second-place runner behind leader Jimmy Johnson. So Kenseth, who led the first 53 laps of this one, sliding back to 4th position in this run. The next car behind him is Jeff Gordon, who's worked his way back up to 5th. So Keselowski in 15th, and we'll keep an eye on him. Here's Jeff Gordon on the rally. Up to 4th place around Matt Kenseth.
This car has been really, really solid. You expect him to make a little adjustment from that first run, even though he was really good then, but driving up from 10th up into that 4th spot now.
Now, been about 40 laps since the last round of pit stops, beginning to see some trickle onto the pit lane under green here. Eric Almirola is on pit road now. Danica Patrick has been on and off pit road. And we'll see when some of these front runners begin to slow and come on in.
Yeah, the tire wear is pretty high here. This track kind of chews those right side tires and left side tires up for that matter. I'm sure guys are going to be very sensitive to that. They feel something.
Center loose off. They added wedge in the car. He said it fixed the exit, but I'm still tight center. I need help there. 24 car. Jeff Gordon said, I'm really loose, guys. Track bar helped it, but I got to have wedge. Harvick right, Gordon left. Harvick's away, 12-1, 13 back.
And that's typical whenever you see, as you see Jeff Gordon taking the 3rd spot from Matt Kenseth here. But typically you have a loose race car at these high speeds. You've got to have the car underneath you. Well, the tires will hold you for a little bit. That's why he was able.
Now back behind him, when this weekend began, Jeff Gordon said, you know what? He said, the chemistry, the communication I have with Alan Gustafson has my confidence at an all-time high. He said, I know we as a team are going to make the right moves and right adjustments. And that last stop, Alan Gustafson put a half round of wedge in it, and what was a loose race car is no longer. Right now, Jeff Gordon has a rocket. Here's Jamie.
And Matt Kenseth.
Pretty good race for the lead shaping up at Texas Motor Speedway. At the 1/3, a little past the 1/3 mark of this race, Jimmy Johnson being tracked down by Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon closing on the both of them.
See, these two drivers are just over a half second behind, but all of them sliding the rear end off of turn 2 there.
Now, coming up on the window.
Kowski's saying he's inconsistent and the car's unstable. It won't turn. He wants some help to fix this car. But actually, right now, this point in the race, I haven't heard a driver that says he's very happy with the car. There's the chassis adjustment for the 2. As they work on the left side, it'll be 4 tires, and they'll fill them up with Sunoco fuel.
All right, Jamie, thanks. Jeff Gordon around Kevin Harvick for second place.
Jeff Gordon said, I'm still a little bit loose off, but I can't afford to be any tighter on landing, so whatever adjustments you make can't be significant. Looks like it's air pressure only, not looking at a wrench. Left side tire is going on so far. Pit stop is flawless. Left front on, and Gordon getting full of fuel. Jamie.
Was 1.3 seconds before the pit stops over Jeff Gordon, who was the second place runner. And now Gordon is catching Harvick again to try and reclaim the runner-up position.
Consistency that we see Gordon here now retake that second spot from Kevin Harvick. But if Kenseth and Newman are able to do that, they'll be in great shape heading into Phoenix next weekend.
Harvick falling back to third now and losing a little ground.
24 is running about 2.5 seconds faster than that. Did you go faster or not? No, not really.
And you have fun or having fun, then run good. I mean,
Just across halfway in the AAA Texas 500, and Jeff Gordon is reeling him in these last few laps, little bits at a time, but he has closed the gap just a little. 6-time racing 4-time at Texas. Down to just 14 cars on the lead lap, and here they are, Vince.
Jimmie Johnson says he's lost the ability to hook the corner like he was able to do earlier in the race, so it's gotten a little too tight center, so they're making a chassis adjustment, track bar and wedge on the right-hand side, 4 tires and Sunoco fuel. Doc?
Jeff Gordon said tight landing and off, can't move up because the car's so tight. They're going to put the air pressure back where it was, half round on the track bar. Now, Kevin Harvick said horrible loose, car bouncing, very loose, trying to hang on. Chassis adjustment, 4 tires. Jamie.
Ryan Newman was running 5th, tight in and free on exit, but really good. That's the first time I've heard that today from any of these drivers in my section. So Ryan Newman very happy with the car. Great stop, 4 tires, filled him up with fuel.
Jeff Gordon's crew gave it a good run, but Jimmie Johnson won the race off pit road by that much. Okay, by this much. About a half a car length. So across halfway here at Texas Motor Speedway today, time for ESPN's NASCAR Nonstop. to go. Jimmy Johnson, the leader, will have Jeff Gordon to his outside for this restart.
So early on that run, Harvick struggled. Newman's medium, behind him, Matt's medium. You two up front here are the best two long-range cars. I think you were better than him long-range that run.
Yeah. They're fighting loose off, these guys.
Eddie DeHaan, the spotter, offering his observations to Jeff, who agrees with the assessment.
Yeah, I think that's interesting that Jeff said that they're struggling to loose off. He's paying attention. So you guys kind of look for the weak spot of your competition.
That's what you want to know, and sounded like that he's pretty comfortable with his car on the exit of the corner. Maybe, if anything, just a little bit on that tight side.
Jeff started on the outside of the front row, had trouble staying with Matt Kenseth from that outside front row spot. They've just waved off the restart, so it's going to be another lap of caution before we go back green flag racing. Only expecting the temperature to drop another maybe 2 degrees of air temperature between now and the checkered flag. So be interesting to track that. Vince is with Chad Knaus now.
It's been a very strong effort from the 48 here today. How has the track been changed?
And that was a long green flag stretch. That was 129 laps. That's within 11 laps of the longest green flag stretch we've had this season. In Dover, we had 140 laps of green.
All of this comes true is what these drivers and crew chiefs are expecting this racetrack to do. You have to think that Jeff Gordon is in a really, really good spot. His car is kind of where he wants it right now, a little bit to the snug side, I'll call it. Everybody else struggling with a little bit loose. If it gets looser, his car is probably going to be okay, and the others will fight and struggle even more.
Doc?
Yeah, you heard Jeff Gordon talking about the 4 car in front of him, how loose Kevin Harvick was. I mean, Kevin had used words like bouncing, sideways, horrible loose.
Yeah, when you hear Harvick talk about how bad his car is, there's only 3 cars better than him on the track right now. Which is what makes the cars freer when it gets cooler. Engines making more power.
Now we'll be able to see Gordon the last time under the green was able to run the 48 down or start running him down.
There's the gap, first to second at 300 miles. Jimmy Johnson to Jeff Gordon. Jeff nibbling on the lead a little bit. So that radio traffic we heard with Eddie DeHaan, Jeff Gordon's spotter, talking about, long run cars and so on. Now that we've tipped 15, 17 laps on this set of tires, maybe a little bit of an advantage to the 24 starting to kick in, just a little bit of one.
Yeah, about a tenth to a tenth and a half now on Jeff Gordon's car. He's a little quicker than Johnson. But like you said, when Johnson's able to pull that second and a half, it's kind of hard to close that and then make the pass for the lead. And Jeff hadn't really been able to do that yet.
Talking about Phoenix next week and how nerve-wracking that's going to be. Jeff Gordon was one who, in a conversation in Martinsville last week, told me that he just doesn't. They had a great test at Phoenix, and they feel like they've got a great car and a great chance to win that race. But he was one that said, as nerve-wracking as Talladega was, you just don't. If there's any way you can avoid it, you don't want to go to Phoenix next Sunday and either A, have to win, or B, be riding that point bubble like that up and down all day, because one flat tire, one missed lug nut, somebody jams up a restart late in the race, something happens, and your whole season's picture takes a turn all at once.
Yeah, he told me, Jeff and I talked on Thursday on the way out here, and he was telling me that a restart, being in the wrong lane on a restart late in that race could take you from moving on to battle for a championship to right out of contention. and he was very concerned. He really wanted to get it done. He's very determined to try to get it done here tonight.
You saw that loose race car at that time, but Jimmy says despite the fact it started off amazing, it really swung tight on entry, so that's the chassis adjustment they're going to make to try to help it. 4 tires in Sunoco fuel, Doc.
And Jeff Gordon said still tight in, landing tight to the center, a little free off, but the biggest problem is tight. They're going to make an adjustment. May look at a rubber, pulling the rubber out, the left side tires going off. Kevin Harvick, 4 tires, fuel, track bar down. He said still loose. Jamie.
Now, Kenza said he didn't love it, but the balance was a little better that time. He wants a tear off to help see. There's a lot of debris out there. Wipe the grill, Sunoco fuel, 4 tires. He's down and away behind the 48.
Down here with Alan Gustafson. And Alan, every time Jeff needs something, you seem to dial it in. He's been talking about being tight, middle of tight landing, and you made some adjustments, but it's still free off. How difficult is it to fix that?
You know, it's just always a challenge. The track conditions change, where we're at on the track and the traffic are different. So, and we're racing different cars. You know, Jimmy's got a lot of front end speed, and we've got to work on that. But we just got to keep plugging away. Everybody's on this driving the Hunger Chevy's doing a great job, and Jeff's doing a great job. So just try to get it better every stop and fly it all we can.
All right, let's check in with Jamie.
Where car's at as it starts transitioning, you can feel it cooling off. Obviously, I just put my jacket on. But I like where we're sitting. We've been chasing a little bit, and I think a lot of it's probably the wind as well. But we're in good shape right here.
And we're going green, Alan.
Kevin Harvick struggling. All right, Andy, I know you were wanting to see Matt Kenseth restarting on the outside lane to make a better judgment of where you thought he stood on that long.
He's really up trying to take the lead away here now.
New leader, Jeff Gordon. Or at least will be when he comes back around.
Tires now, nice and smooth. 117 to go with the 1.
It's amazing it's taking this long for the 24 to get the lead. It looks like he's had kind of the best car overall when you look at the full run all day long. I don't think so. I think tires just too valuable.
Here they are. Vince.
Very few complaints from Jimmy Johnson today, but the one thing he has mentioned the last couple of stops that he needs help with is just help in the center of the corner, getting the car to turn, set and turn. So Chad Knaus gives him a chassis adjustment to try to help for fresh Goodyears. Doc?
And lower left corner, Jeff Gordon's car had been tight, gotten much better with the adjustments they made the last time. It'll be 4 tires there. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick says, got to tighten me up, guys, still loose. You know, an adjustment on Harvick to get him tighter. Jamie.
Joey Logano said he was good on exit that time, and that really helped him get that track position and move into second. 4 tire stop, and they filled him up for the 22.
Tony Stewart took wave arounds to get back on the lead lap and see where this shakes out for Denny Hamlin here as we go back green.
Could be the only scenario where the outside lane is good when the inside car only has 2 tires.
That's 6 places in a lap as Jeff Gordon goes back to the lead. Kenseth and Logano for second. Jimmy Johnson right behind them. 3 wide there. Keselowski still eligible in the championship. For a long time, it was 24 chasing 48. Then just before the yellow, Jeff went by and it was 48 chasing 24 as it is now.
Well, that's the interesting thing is, you know, we freed it up and I wasn't very good, but I was rolling the bottom and I stuck to it. And that's when we started gaining on all those guys. And ever since then, I was using the bottom and doing it successfully until this last run it didn't work.
Obviously, the calm, quiet nature of that transmission. It came in under the caution a few minutes ago. Jimmy Johnson also trying to size up where he stands versus the competition.
So, Jimmy, one thing I was just sitting here watching, it looks like the 24 consistently exits turn 4 lower than most people. I don't know if there's some pressure
asphalt out there maybe? Just something to maybe look into a little bit later as we go.
Chad Knaus.
And maybe not even able to run down where Jeff is.
And I can tell you, since that transmission was done, which we heard went back prior to the last caution, Jimmie Johnson hasn't been as good as his 24 if he's trying to do that. And I've seen him run lower, trying to get off the corner there. So it'll be interesting to see if Jimmy goes back to what he had. I'm trying to.
Jeff Gordon out in front in race 8 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Can he get a huge victory in another hour or so?
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series action from Texas Motor Speedway, pitting under yellow for Jimmie Johnson. Says the car's just a little bit freer off. No changes, a little air pressure adjustment, 4 tires. Doc.
Jeff Gordon, 4 tires in the field, very important to get the clean air and beat the 48 off pit road. You're going to make a left rear chassis adjustment. Kevin Harvick still needs to be tightened up a little bit. Left side tires going on the 4 car. Jamie.
Joey Logano said that it didn't feel much better. They made a track bar adjustment then, so they're trying a wedge adjustment this time. 4 tires. He's down at 14 seconds.
I have to think in this situation, Jeff Gordon is probably a big fan of Jimmie Johnson. Try to maybe hold this 4 car off and not be able to punch a ticket to Homestead, because I think Jeff would have to believe that this 4 car is in that final. That's got to be one of his biggest competitors.
He is, but Jeff Gordon's going to be back up there battling for the lead before these 80 couple of laps are gone.
Yeah, we're not done with the yellow flag either, I don't believe. Here's 3rd place. Gordon easily by Kenseth. .6 seconds to make up for Jeff to catch Jimmie Johnson.
He was the quickest car.
Caution. Debris from turn number 2.
Kevin was.
Yep, and that forced Jeff Gordon out wide and had to check up a little bit, and then dropped him back some.
They have enough tires to come to pit road again?
I think so. We had a really long run of about 130 laps, 129 laps early in the race, and that actually saved a few sets of tires.
Be up to the pit crews to decide this again.
Come on, bud. Do it. Come on.
Almost everybody pitted. Keselowski stays out, Vince.
They made the call late. Just 4 tires, no changes for Jimmie Johnson. He says the car's pretty good for him on exit. Doc?
Jeff Gordon said just a little bit snug landing, but really not bad at all. We're pretty good. He's going to come in and put tires on it and gas. The 4 car, Kevin Harvick, no adjustment previous time. I guess half around in the left rear they're talking about for the 4 car, 4 tires fuel. Jamie.
And Matt Kenseth said he's just too tight. He couldn't carry momentum into the corner. So they decided to come in. They followed the leaders in a 4 tire stop here for Matt to fill him up with Sunoco fuel. A little bit longer stop than we're used to seeing here. Must have had a slower problem.
And for Brad Keselowski in the 2 car, he'll be the leader on this restart after not pitting under this yellow flag.
Let's do our best. All we can hope.
Jimmie Johnson or Jeff Gordon, who's going to be second and the first one to try and challenge the 2?
Yeah, I think Gordon's going to win out on that battle down on the bottom side. Harvick looking to take the third spot.
I'm pretty impressed with the 2 car, being able to hold the lead at least for a lap. We'll see how long he can hold it.
You wonder if a sniff of clean air transforms the handling of this 2 car in some significant way.
Yeah, it had to, because he's got about 8 green flag laps more on his tires than these other cars. And he's not really been that good a car today.
No, but you might have a combination of the clean air that you're talking about and then the conditions maybe changing to his liking now for his car. But I think the clean air probably has way more to do.
Gordon going to try the higher line now. See if he can get some clean air on the nose of his car and get a run at Keselowski.
Talk about just a difference. We see the 2 car who's been mired back there outside of the top 10 most of the day, up there right around that. But then you take Matt Kenseth, who's been in the top 5 most of the day, restart way back there. Where's he running 20th right now? Doesn't look like he can pass hardly anybody.
Actually lost 2 spots since the restart, Kenseth did. Keselowski actually ran the fastest lap of anyone in the field last circuit by.
Here, and it carries off.
Yeah, I mean, that's just really impressive. With those extra laps on the tires, if he can hold on for about 10 or 15 laps here, even if Gordon passes him, hold on to 2nd or 3rd, this will turn out to be a huge advantage, this Coliseum.
You drive away by 2. He comes back to the center when he runs that middle lane, and by 1, he has momentum. He'll be in line tight. Bottom lane inside.
Now NASCAR Race Control has just informed its officials down on pit road to inform crew chiefs that they may have the option to go to Goodyear and mount an extra set of tires. First come, first serve on however many are available. I don't know the number that are available, but I'll bet there's a lot of crew chiefs sending guys scurrying to the tire shop right now.
Yeah, that's significant because they have changed a lot of tires. I think most of the teams have about 2 sets left, but if we see a rash of yellow, these teams will want more tires. Looks like Gordon got a run now.
Staying even with you.
I am so impressed with this 2 car, how he's able to hold off Gordon this long.
Driving your guts out. Gonna hang tight left side.
Jeff actually led that last lap by a smidge. But I don't think he's going to lead this one.
The longer they run, the more equal they'll become on these tires. I bet you could have polled the crew chiefs on pit road and say, how long do you think the 2 car will lead by staying out? And not one of them would have gave you more than 1 lap.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have thought that down the back straightaway that he would have probably lost that.
Yeah.
The lead.
Pretty amazing.
We've seen him do some amazing things, though.
look at the tire guys.
Yeah, they're having a sale down at Goodyear. Supplies are limited, though.
The teams keep tires and wheels. Goodyear keeps, and they'll have sets down there on racks and so on. So as these guys show up, they'll get tires mounted up, and the tire busters will be busy inside the garage there, which is tucked down behind you.
Yeah, the conditions changing have brought a lot more people into the mix right now. This is going to be a different race than what we saw and what we were kind of anticipating, besides a couple of drivers. Not sure of the adjustments they made on the 48, keeping up with the track, and as others have been able to make their car a little better.
Gordon's going to start pressing this 2 car a little harder because he looks in his mirror and he sees now that he's got Kevin Harvick kind of on the charge. So a little bobble out of the 2 car that lap.
Got to run here.
somebody with Gordon's experience knew it was only kind of a matter of time. So you sit back there and wait and know that the more you run, the better position you should be in. Now he's able to take the lead. Hard to beat experience and a lot of talent put together.
Yeah, it's a good comeback and a good car. So Jeff Gordon back out in front. Still, remarkable result for Keselowski so far, with Paul Wolf's call to stay out from 12th position and take the lead on tires that had a few laps on them. We'll see how that plays into the outcome of the race as we still have 58 laps to go. Jeff Gordon, in search of another win at Texas Motor Speedway, has the race lead. Want to see a championship day almost go away in the blink of an eye. Close call for Jeff Gordon a minute ago. Ran up on Reed Sorensen, who ran up on Danica Patrick. And the rubber and the bits that lay on the track were flying, but Jeff Gordon hung on to it and avoided any major contact.
Yeah, you want to know something that's even better than that? I looked at the lap time. His lap was actually quicker than Harvick's was in second.
So Gordon out in front by 1.8 seconds over Kevin Harvick. It's been so long ago when Jeff lost 6 positions from 4th to 10th, but had what was possibly a race-saving moment by his front tire changer.
Yeah, Scott Brzezowski, you see how he pulled that tire back off after they put it on because there was a lug nut sitting up on top of the hub. And by making that move, it kept them from having a problem later that could have taken them out of the championship.
And the entire Jeff Gordon team nominated as our Goodyear Superior Performers today here in Texas. Caution is out. We believe for debris off of turn number 2, and it is the 7th yellow flag. and a huge break for Brad Keselowski.
Yes, it is. This is something that's really going to pay because now they've got a chance to make it up with a good pit stop, which they have a great crew and a good pit stall down there, number 1.
So pit road open here. It'll be 48 laps to go. And Brad Keselowski from 12th to the lead. He only fell back to 3rd and now comes down pit road, heads up with these others that he hasn't been around much all race long, Vince.
Well, this 48 pit crew has been spot on all day. They need a money stop right here. They're going to go around in the right rear to help Jimmy find that balance that he's been looking for the last couple of stops. 4 tires and Sunoco fuel, Doc.
Jeff Gordon saying it's building tight, getting a little bit too tight, but did he make a major change? No, air pressure, left side tires going on. Kevin Harvick said, for the first time today, we are tight, but I hate to tell you to free it up. I don't want it too free. Jamie.
What a break for the 2 car. They were getting ready to come in and pit right when the caution fell. Brad saying the car's pretty free and manageable. 4 tire stop, ooh, almost ran him.
And watch Jeff Gordon leaving his pit stall after his stop.
Yeah, things got really tight for him. Looked like the 48 was probably going to beat him out anyway because he had the momentum coming. And Jeff had to get out of the throttle. I think that he saw then, I'd rather be 3rd than 2nd anyway, so let's just not get caught speeding.
That's an interesting point too, isn't it? Should be an interesting restart coming up from here in Texas.
Key right now, the cars can all make it on fuel right now to the very end. It's going to be tight, but they can make it.
That's big.
Alan?
Got 24 on the lead lap. As we get doubled up for the restart, you see the track temperature beginning to drop as the sun begins to set.
Restart.
Johnson, Harvick, Gordon. Gordon couldn't keep that lane closed out to keep Harvick trapped on the outside. When Jeff Gordon got by him, which was way back at like lap 217 when Gordon first got by him, Jimmy wasn't really able to stay there and challenge for the lead. But now some more adjustments on this car and the changing track conditions and so on, and look at the gap he's already put on Harvick and on Jeff in the few laps of racing we've done here.
And I'll go back and point out too, I said that he, after a suggestion from his crew chief about running lower off turn 4, he hasn't been.
Still use a little help in the center, so they're going to make that chassis adjustment again. 4 tires for Jimmy Johnson. This pit crew has been so good throughout the course of the day. Let's see what they can do on this one. Doc?
Jeff Gordon likes his car. Going to be 4 tires, fuel, no changes. Kevin Harvick said, hey, we're tight, middle, and tight off. The car's going to be good on a long run if we ever can get a long run. Jamie.
10th pit stop of the day. Joey Logano says not bad. Little on the free side. A wedge adjustment here to help that car. 4 tires, and they'll fill him up with Sunoco fuel and wipe that grill. He's still there. They're taking time. Pack it full of fuel. Problem on the left rear. They're
Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, the guys that have dominated a lot of the time up front in this race. Very interesting.
If this thing goes green, I think it gives Matt a good chance of winning.
You know, the racetrack's got so much more grip now. You know, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon to the high side making time.
Jeff Gordon all the way back in 10th place after the scramble and shuffle. Jeff Gordon trying to make his way through. Around Denny Hamlin for 5th place goes Jeff. Word with us earlier, Matt Kenseth led the first 53 laps from pole. Then Jimmy Johnson went by him and dominated the middle stages of the race. Gordon got by Johnson and had the stronger car, so on. Gordon trying to take fourth place from Kenseth, while Johnson is up on Kurt Busch for the race lead.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth now just trying to manage a finish here. Things didn't.
And Gordon trying to close in on all three of them.
Big run by Johnson there.
Harvick from third.
Oh, a lot of them came.
Gordon
too.
stayed out.
A lot more came than I thought.
Second, and Jeff Gordon running second.
Just got to get a start, get going, man. Get by Jimmy, you can do it. There's not enough laps for him to get to you.
Yeah, he talks about somebody getting to him. He's talking about the guys on tires. If he's able to get by Jimmy, feels like he'll have a chance to win it. Good chance.
This race had some massive green flag runs earlier in it. One that lasted 129 laps, which is if Jeff Gordon or Kevin Harvick can get up there and win, or Denny Hamlin. They're through. Newman is 21st for the restart. Kenseth is 25th. Ricky Stenhouse got the free pass on the caution, back on the lead lap. So we've got 27 cars on the lead lap. And the real story at the front of the field, can Jeff Gordon get going in that outside lane? Can he get back down in behind Jimmy Johnson if he can't get around him, in front of Kurt Busch, and have a shot at racing him? And Gordon's car's been better than Johnson's on the longer run today. Does he have enough laps left to get around Jimmy?
This isn't considered a long run here, so that's going his best option is going to be to somehow try to figure out a way to get his best restart and get to Jimmy Johnson's bumper and try to loosen him up here in these last 10 laps.
Oh, and by the way, we may not be done with the yellow flag either. Had a green-white checker finish here in the race back in April. Here's your restart order. What's going to happen next? We find out together. Johnson and Gordon on the front row, pace cars off.
Gordon getting a big push from Tony Stewart. See if that helps him.
Jamie McMurray 3 wide.
Comes Harvick with those tires. Gordon, big run.
Jeff Gordon to the race lead off turn 2. Kurt Busch to the inside of Johnson. Keselowski through 3 wide on the bottom. Got to pass Jimmy Johnson and find a way to catch Jeff Gordon. If the yellow doesn't come out, that's going to be awfully tough.
I'll guarantee you, if Jeff Gordon goes on to win this, that he will thank Tony Stewart whenever he gets that opportunity, probably in victory lane if he does that. Because that was the push that got him up beside and kept him beside the 48 to stay right there down in 1 and 2 and then made a huge run.
And it's all helping Jeff Gordon get away.
Two car loosened him up.
Newman's 20th, Kenseth is 22nd. 4 laps to go.
He got you in the left rear.
Wow, you can see it on his face. If we could see Jeff Gordon's face, we'd see kind of the same thing that Alan Gustafson was showing right there.